I am worried. Things are going well-ish, for Australia at the moment and not so flash for England. Our bowling attack is set and primed, no bothersome questions about form and fitness, of stress or stress fractures for the first test fast men. Nathan Lyon is humming along like a well-oiled machine that bowls off spin. Bowling England out a couple of times looks very doable, even if the pitches get a bit flat. The old cricket adage says bowlers win matches, batsmen save 'em. If the team attack remains intact, then it won't matter who bats at no 6 for the home side. The batting issues, and I do mean plural, are more vexing for the selectors, captain and coach. The uncertainty of the first 7 batsmen is in direct contrast to the bottom 4. OK, so Australia are not exactly a solid 11, but they are in a considerably more comfortable position than the visitors. The England bats did exactly tear apart the young and eclectic CAA 11 on a belting pitch in Adelaide through the week. Joe Root apart, the rest of the order aren't world class, with an apology to Alastair Cook, who has been world class, but seems to be over the hump at the moment as he nears the age of 33. Mark Stoneman, James Vince and Doyd Malan aren't proven performers, and each of their innings will be supported by much finger crossing and rabbit's foot rubbing. Jimmy Anderson has had his struggles on hard Australian pitches with the non-swinging Kookaburra ball. Stuart Broad, a decade on from his Test debut, has found his shoulders drooping from the expectation of leading the attack on soil more akin to Neptune than Nottingham, and Stephen Finn is already on a flight home, having not survived the flinty Waker practice pitches. This recipe reminds me all too clearly of Mike Gadding's 1986-87 tourists. Those of the infamous only had 3 things wrong with them: they can't bat, they can't bowl and they can't field. Paragraph by English journalist Martin Johnson after the MCC had begun that trip with woeful performances against the States, in an era where the States actually got to play the touring teams on their test venues. If history is written by the victors, then the dry statistics of Gadding's win make delicious reading only for those from the old dart. In the Antipodes there is scant memory of a series that should have been a stroll in the park and ended unit par 2-1 mugging. In my defense, Your Honor, I was injured and only played in the drawn second test. That series, not unlike this current one, was billed as a race to the bottom, with both sides having meagre success in the previous 2 years. But at least England had some veteran hardheads, including the olden day Ben Stokes, Ian Botham for the younger readers, who knew how to adapt and compete. In 1986-87 England's perceived batting weakness was left-arm fast bowling, and hence Australia picked 2, Chris Matthews and Bruce Reid for the first test. It did work, neither did the lack of experience in that attack, picked by then selector Greg Chappell. The result of the opening test of a series so often predicates the fortunes of both teams, and England took advantage of that first upwind to take home the prize, to the great surprise of most onlookers. This series has the same sort of smell.